All right. Live on Facebook. Just waiting for YouTube now. And it looks like we are live. All right. So shout out to Facebook people coming in, all my YouTube people. How's it going? Gabriel Hernandez, Crypto Q in here. Welcome to the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 202. My name is Bitcoin Zay, and I will be going solo today, one-man band. Yes, going solo. In honor of going solo, got my solo cup. Hey, Clove71, let's get some more people in here. A lot of good stories today. Let's see who we got. Antonio, what's going on, brother? Good morning. Yes, sir. Come on in. How you doing, Christopher? Come on in. That's what I'm talking about. Waiting for a few more people to come on in and we can get this started. Let's see. All right, so let's go ahead and start it off. Today's a beautiful day to be in crypto. But, of course, we have our dinos. So we're going to start off with a fresh dino of the day, actually dinos of the day. How you doing, Ghost to Coast? Let's see. Cryptoholic Anonymous. Hey, what's going on, Blockchain Suja? How's it going? Yeah, so we're going to start off with a fresh set of dinos today. Unfortunately, must have left the gate open again. They keep coming back. Jurassic Park got a new movie coming, so it must be out. But former World Bank chief economist actually stated that Bitcoin will fail as governments increase regulation. One of the biggest things we've talked about the last 6 months has been regulation is coming. When a lot of the regulators, a lot of the government people, when they go on break after Christmas, when they come back, they usually dig down deep and figure out exactly how to regulate whatever's going on in the world. And Bitcoin is no different. However, three guys, Joseph Stiglitz, Kenneth Rogoff, and Nouriel Roubini, they've all made statements arguing that Bitcoin will fail as a currency. But Stiglitz, who is a Nobel Prize-winning economist and professor, got to give him respect for that, at Columbia University. He criticized Bitcoin's anonymity, which we've argued that it's not completely anonymous, of course. And he actually says that whenever the global financial regulators act and they become more stringent on the crypto market, he says the crypto market, once it becomes significant, they will use the hammer. We all know an example of the hammer, or what they call the hammer, the regulation we've seen, of course. And by fail, that's a good question, S1 Dubs. Whenever people say something's going to fail or it's going to go away, I always ask them, so is it going to zero, or is it not going to live up to the expectations that you're thinking? And most of the time they use a blanket statement, it's going to fail, it's going to go away due to regulation. However, I will say that a lot of the countries that have regulations in place are some of the biggest users of Bitcoin. That's why they use it. So these people, the reason they come out and say it, they have their talking points, they have their PR people. And of course, right on time, as soon as the market, starts turning a little bit, bad news comes out with them saying it's bad. Let's see, Rogoff, former chief economist at the International Monetary Fund. He's a professional chess player. I don't know why he put that in there. Who cares? However, he says that Bitcoin could be as low as $100 in 10 years. I hope. I mean, I don't know if my buy orders will definitely get hit at that level, but definitely one of those things that regulations, they believe that regulations will completely wipe out Bitcoin and all cryptocurrency, which is exactly why it was created. And I'm pretty sure, like somebody said, they own their own Bitcoin, or their kids own Bitcoin, so they're not pushing it away anytime soon. However, this is what they feel, and as far as them saying that it'll fail, we've seen that thousands of times already. So it's kind of a non-starter for me. But they do deserve Dino of the day, so let's go ahead and give them that loud roar. One more time for the people. Oh my goodness! One last time for all three. Had to give them three because it's three of them. Stiglitz, Joseph Stiglitz, Kenneth Rogoff, and Nouriel Roubini. You all are dinos of the day. We do not like you at all, and it's amazing that they keep coming out with this different stuff simply because they have to say it. And once you get too deep in economics world, you can't really go against the USD or versus government currency. So Hey, how you doing, Maurice Parks? Things are going great. As you can see, solo today. One gentleman today. Yeah, thank you, Johnny Cash. Smash that like. So moving forward, now that we've got those dinos out the way, locked them back in their cages, a little bit of good news that is coming. As you may have heard in the rumor mills, if you know, on Twitter, Facebook, or whatever you follow crypto, CBOE, they actually filed for a Bitcoin ETF. And in my opinion, it does increase the probability of approval because they've already got approved for futures trading, which some people, you know, they make their case for futures trading holding Bitcoin back. However, in a ETF, a Bitcoin only ETF, CBOE has actually stated that according to the registration statement, the trust will invest in Bitcoin only. The activities of the trust are limited to issuing baskets in exchange for the cash or Bitcoin deposited with the custodian, respectively, as consideration, purchasing Bitcoin from various exchanges and over-the-counter transactions, aka dropping those duffel bags off and giving people open dimes, delivering cash or Bitcoin exchange for baskets surrendered for redemption, and maintaining insurance coverage, which is actually, in my opinion, one of the biggest things holding people back. A lot of people want to get into Bitcoin, but they don't have any insurance to show that if I lose my money, what's going to happen. So this is one of those things that they can actually invest in and use with insurance. As of July, CBOE is one of only 3 institutions, including Solidex and I believe Gemini. They actually tried to file for a Bitcoin ETF with the SEC. They were rejected because they said there was no overseas regulations and they were looking at price manipulation. However, we've seen plenty of regulations since then. We've seen a bunch of people who have invested into the market. So it is a very, very active market from a year ago. Because you got to think, if you think back to spring of last year when they actually applied for it, that was just at the beginning of the big altcoin and Bitcoin run. You know, before, you know, the biggest one in December. But that was when a lot of interest came into it. So key thing here is whenever you see somebody or any big institution looking to implement Bitcoin into their platform, very, very bullish. However, you have to wait because because a lot of times good news comes out and the price dumps further. So futures, yeah, you're right, Torrance J. Playlist. Futures holds Bitcoin back, but brings awareness to the masses, and futures are temporary. So 2 things. Basically, what you want to see is if you look at a chart, look at when the first set of futures will open, and then look at when the second set of futures was open. The price run up to 20K, and then the price from 20K down to where we are now. In my opinion, we're reaching close to what could be considered the bottom in this trading cycle. That's why you have so much innovation coming out. So I will wait for a price dip, maybe in the 5K range. And when this Bitcoin ETF really hits, in my opinion, hits the monthly order block, sort of in that lower range, that's when I believe they will either get approved. And I think they'll get approved, and then boom time, like Blockchain Shuja says, that's when you'll start to see a lot of buys, a lot of institutional people into it. However, I will say that it doesn't guarantee anything. So one of the biggest things you want to do is risk management and not going all in right now. But I will say this is a good sign going forward. So CBOE, good luck there. But in other good news, like I've stated before, all these platforms are adding Bitcoin and altcoins for a reason, people. There's going to be a time where the market turns and they will be in place. That's what most people have been doing. That's what I've been doing the last 7 months, getting in place for these things. So BitGo, they've actually decided to add 57 Ethereum tokens. And this is the largest ever custody expansion for any business. If you've used BitGo, I have great custodial service. They have cold wallets, multi-sig addresses. You can use it for corporations. You can use it for individuals. And in my opinion, that is actually a bigger story than the CBOE, because if you have any of these tokens, if you've been blasted, lost 80% over the last few months, the fact that BitGo is adding it means that they have a custodial service where they can actually keep it for institutional people. They can purchase these tokens. And in my opinion, like we said before, the more that they add this capability, they're not adding this capability for all coins to go to zero. They're adding this capability so that it's easier for people to come on and to purchase. So don't be swayed by what the market is doing now. It's natural. It's going to go down. There's way too much hype around it earlier. So just a natural correction. So getting into it, BitGo, founded in 2013. This startup, they actually have stated that or the CTO, Benedict Chan, stated that these institutions, they generally don't want to self-manage their coins. They are looking for someone that can support multiple coins, which is my point exactly. As a sovereign individual, I would like to hold on to my own coins. However, everybody doesn't have security capabilities or the technical expertise in order to do that. So institutions, they're like, hey, you do it, insure us, and we'll buy as much as we can at the lowest price. So this is very, very good for the token market. And I think that a lot of the tokens that are waiting to see if they're approved by the SEC, right now it's one of those things where the SEC is kind of in limbo. So if they do say that it's a token or a security, there will be some regulations thrown in there. So a little bit of background on them, or background on the 57 tokens. They will include any tokens offered by Ken or Kick, I'm sorry, which is by Ken. Also Civic, that's another one. And they've started experimenting in 2017. So this isn't some overnight thing. They've actually been working with this for a long time. So if you're thinking of building an ERC20 token, hey, look at BitGo. You could actually store it there. So good story there from BitGo. And if you haven't used BitGo, I would suggest at least getting one wallet from them. Security is top notch. Never had a problem with it. One of the best developers in the space, LOP, LOPP on Twitter. Great developer. One of the guys who helped build that platform. So good for BitGo. And let's see, jumping into some more news about adding more tokens, adding more payments. Payment service CoinGate. They've launched a Bitcoin Lightning Network pilot for over 100 merchants. 100 merchants just to start. So it's not a big number, but with the Lightning Network, a lot of people have said it's too early. It hasn't started. There's only a few payment channels. Look, people, I'm gonna tell you this right now. We've watched Lightning Network development from when it was 1 or 2 Bitcoins in the payment channel. I believe yesterday the network statistics were that there's been over 50 Bitcoin exchange on the Lightning Network, and it looks like CoinGate is starting their pilot program in order to be the first ones to test Lightning Network in real life, which is great. Shout out to the CoinGate. Thank you for that, because as far as building goes, you have the internet. Bitcoin was built on the internet, and Lightning Network was built on top of Bitcoin. So people that tell you Lightning Network doesn't work, the fees, you can set your fees, or it may be or it may not work. They said the same thing about Bitcoin, and Lightning Network is maybe 2 years old. So think about Bitcoin in 2011. There was plenty of, it's not going to work. It can't work. People won't, the technology won't develop. That's all garbage, simply because we know technology, according to Moore's law, doubles in size every 2 years. So I would not be surprised, like they said here, if in 2 years Lightning Network is the only way most people pay. They've actually stated that Lightning Network is even newer, less user-friendly, so it will take 1 to 2 years for consumer applications to develop, and probably more for merchants to start adopting this more actively, which is my point exactly. Most of the development that you see happening is 1 or 2 years out for it to be standard, that you could just use it, perfect as a user, that grandma can use it basically. That's one of the biggest things in tech is you want to make it as simple as possible so that kids can use it, or anybody who has any desire to use it can use it. So that's good from CoinGate. They said that they will also cover any costs incurred if they lose the funds, which is basically insurance, private insurance that they put out. And I believe a lot more companies will do that, because that brings people in. The assurance that your money won't be lost if there's a technical difficulty will bring in a lot more people. So, just some background news on Lightning Network. Pokemon actually came to the Lightning Network. They had a game, Poketoshi, we actually discussed, and where you pay for the game using Lightning Network. So we're starting to see the pieces in place. Like Maurice Park says, people putting all the pieces in place. So when the switch is flipped, someone will be ready, and some will be sitting there like, oh man, I missed it again. So I promise you, a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines waiting. And a lot of people like us, crypto warriors, people that have been watching these companies, they're building as much as possible. So whenever the time comes, they'll be in place. So let's look at some comments. Let's see. Yeah, Jizzy Mac, for the ETF, anyone who is approved will have to buy Bitcoin for their customers. So we'll bring new money in. Absolutely. Let's see. Kobe Fields, what happens to these merchants if another fork is voted for? That's interesting. One of the things that I've seen about another fork coming, brute force sort of SegWit 2x type fork, they can try, but I doubt there'll be. I don't think there'll be a fork. But if there is, happens to be a fork or whatnot, the Lightning Network is built on top of the Bitcoin protocol that's out now. So if they fork it, I'm sure they have the capabilities to update it to that. So I don't think there would be that big of a deal, so to say. Just like before, there was a lot of hype around it, but nothing happened. And we kept telling people, was like, stop worrying, stop running, away. They're just trying to run you out of the market. So let's see. Law of attraction, great news. Appreciate you, my man. Yeah, it's usually two of us. So yeah, when King gets back, tomorrow we'll definitely have us both. Let's see. Thank you, Dry Dessert. If you watch the stream and don't click thumbs up, you're stealing. Absolutely. Make sure you hit that like and share button so we can get this algorithm popping. So moving forward, I know in finally news, like, good gracious, it took forever. Augur Network, they finally launched their successful token migration yesterday. They've been in development for 2 years. So like I've just stated before, 2 years is usually how long it takes for good ideas to really get off the ground. So Augur, they've launched their client and their token migration July 9th, yesterday at 11 at night. They froze the current ERC20 smart contracts, migrated to a new one. It took, a few hours, but think about technology. It took them a few hours to migrate to a new system, whereas how long is it going to take for a banking system to change the way they do stuff? It may take years. So very, 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 very good there. And Augur, it is a platform for prediction markets. So basically, you can predict anything from who's going to win the presidential election, who's going to win this football match, soccer match. Who do you think is going to where would the Bitcoin price be at this date? So Augur is one of those platforms that is pretty slick. I like the idea. And if you have Augur tokens, it doesn't mean that it's automatically going to go through the roof. However, it does have a pretty low supply. I think it has 11 million tokens on their network. And whenever you're looking at good projects with a low supply, who are kind of out of the news, this is the type of coin you want to look at, because I think it will be one of the more bullish ones going forward. So I think they're at this time. Let's see, Tom Kaiser. He's actually stated, my number one piece of advice for new developers who want to build and contribute to decentralized applications: prioritize security and do not rush. I wish I could take that statement and slap it on every ICO that is sent to my emails. Like, look, prioritize security and stop being in a rush. I know a lot of people want to get a money grab and just go away. However, it's for the long run. You want your food to bake in the oven, not in the microwave. So take your time to learn, implement best practices, and work with engineers and security auditors who have real experience with production smart contracts. Surround yourself with people who take this stuff seriously. Cannot stress that enough, because there's some people who just want to get in, get some money, get out. And writing a decentralized app is not like writing a web app. Be cautious and be thorough. So that's a great statement from him. And I believe that anybody who decides, even myself, I've started building decentralized apps, built a few smart contracts, getting back into coding like I was before. But one of the biggest things is the security of it. It's a decentralized app. It's not like a web app where you have a lot of backup and security there for you. You have to realize in the decentralized app world, if everybody has the ability to use it, and there's a lot of backdoors that haven't been found, or if there's a different way to build something, you have to find it. You have to audit it. You have to take your time. It took them 2 years. It takes most good projects that long. It took Bitcoin 2 years to get on the exchange, or 2 years to be recognized on bigger exchanges. It took Litecoin, I think, 2 years to start exploring. It takes some time, people. So that's one of those things that you definitely have to make sure that you keep up on. And I believe if Augur does it the right way, which they have, they will succeed in the long term. So good for Augur there. And definitely some good news coming out finally. So that is all I have for you all today. I definitely want to thank you all for watching the Gentleman of Crypto today. Once again, like I said, I was solo today. It's all good. We'll be back in effect tomorrow. And I want to make sure that we let people know KRBEcrypto.com, shop KRBEcrypto.com. Once again, later this week, Friday, we'll have new shirts up on the website. If you want to get some of our older shirts that we've already had, they're up on the website as well. So make sure you hit that like and share button, people. And until next time, have a good one.